What's going on there, fellow YouTubers? This is Chris from the Msss Anomalies channel. Alright guys, this is going to be a real busy video, so hang in there with me. I'm going to be bouncing a little bit here and there. There's so much to add, and I don't want to make it an hour video, so we're going to try to do the best we can. Alright, I wanted to reply to a gentleman named Jeff Bricks, who responded to me, because I responded to another gentleman on, I think it was my last video of the, well, when I did about the lunar wave. And he responded because I said there's an 80% chance whether the that we have been to the moon, that we have not. I believe 80% chance we have not, 20% chance possibility. Now, he doesn't believe it at all. He believes 100% we have not. And to be honest with you, the more we read on this crap, I mean, the more you just doubt it. I mean, that's all there is to it. I was watching a video, and thanks to Peter, also known as Space Cadet, he showed me this video, and I've seen parts of this before. So I think they did like a collage of different videos together, so to speak. But what was funny about it, what had me really puzzled, and I'll give you the video link to this. It's actually called NASA Fail Compilation. And if you put that in your search box on YouTube, and you'll see it's the actual very first video on the top of the list. But anyway, what puzzles me more than anything, I mean, it's got some BS in the video. I mean, if you understand anything about radio or anything like that, I think it's between minute 7 and 8, that it's BS. I mean, basically he's saying there's no satellites out in space, or there's not as many as they claim there should be. They claim there's a bunch, but there's not as many as there should be. But there is absolutely satellites out in space. You know, what do you think your satellite dishes are, pointed at? He claims that, there's no GPS satellites out there. Of course there is. But when you get in around, I think it's around 7 to 8 minutes, he actually, there's a part where there's I don't know if I want to use the term news anchor or whatever he was, but I think he was from one of these groups that really want answers. They're looking for, hey, what's going on? So they approach these astronauts, both, Buzz, John Young, Neil Armstrong, Ed Mitchell, and Alan Bean. And it was funny because he asked Buzz, what's going on, and of course he kind of eggs him on. He says, "You're a coward, I don't believe you, blah, 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 blah." Well, Buzz gives him a right hook. I mean, literally, boom, punches him. Now, they go up to John Young, and he's saying, hey, he's only asking these astronauts, swear in the Bible that you've been on the moon. They won't do it. In fact, John Young, who's from the Apollo 10 and 16, asked, do you want me to knock your head off? You want me to knock you in the head? Something to that effect. And so, I mean, I'm going, okay. Then he approached Neil Armstrong, and he says, swear in the Bible if you've been on the moon. And you know what he says to me? He says, knowing you, it's probably a fake Bible. I'm like, what? Ed Mitchell, the guy, this interviewer, or this person wanting to know the truth, is actually in Ed's house, and Ed he just literally throws him out of the house. He says, get out of my house, and he knees him in his ass, like, boom, get out of my house, and while he's on his way out. And the guy just says, I'm getting my stuff, I'm out. I guess he does the same thing with Alan Bean, which is the Apollo 12, one of the Apollo 12 crew. He says, take your stuff and get the F out. So not one of these guys would swear to it. Me personally, if I was an astronaut and I went to the moon, I'd go, of course I will. Give me the Bible, right hand on the Bible, of course. Were you people mental? Why would you not think we were on the moon? Now, I don't know if it's because they've been told this so often, meaning, oh, you haven't been to the moon, and they're just tired of hearing it and just walked away. But me, I'd appease everybody and say, of course we have, right hand on the Bible. So it is debatable. It's a highly debatable thing. But now some people say, well, no, they can't because of the Van Allen belts and stuff like that. Now, I believe, again, going back to the actual astronauts, people have been using, I use the term test cell. The test cell is what they did inside buildings. They had the lander, the Apollo landers and everything else, or the capsules rather, had them in test cells inside buildings. And what they did was they had dirt everywhere. And what they did was they said, okay, this is what we'll do. We'll just do it like a trial. We'll go through all the moves we need to do while you're on the moon, and we'll do it right here, and then everything will go fine once you get on the moon. And some of these people have taken these pictures and said, see, look, it's fake. It's in a building. Of course it is. It's been meant to be. Now, if they're passing this off to the public saying that this is actual footage of on the moon, well then, yeah, 1,000% they're liars, and that's the end of that. So that's highly debatable. You guys can give me your take on that. You know, were we or were we not on the moon? It's kind of looking like we haven't, and there may be a good reason for that. And like I said, these guys, not one of these guys would swear in the Bible, maybe because they just got sick and tired of hearing these people saying that they haven't. They just said, oh, please, piss off. So that could be very well be. But as far as the Van Allen belts, you know, they've been talking about, and I'm going to show you this right now. I don't know if you guys are, first of all, I don't know if you guys are familiar with HAARP. HAARP, I'm just going to show you this picture of the moon because this one here is courtesy of Crow777. He just did another recent video of 2 UFOs actually going and traversing across the moon. What's crazy about it, and I'll get to that in a minute, is that they always look like, I'm saying, where the hell's the shadows to these things? I mean, if they're pretty large, where's the shadows to them? But the shadows might be too small, and you may not be able to see that, so I kind of get that. But I'm going to get to that in a minute. So the courtesy goes to Crow for this one. I just give credit where it's due. This was one of his live feeds, and I just took a still shot of it. And guys, guess what? I'd rather do a still shot from somebody who's taking it right from a telescope into the camera and putting it live than anything ESA or NASA has to put out. So anyway, the Van Allen belts, yeah, they actually have proposals to actually just obliterate those belts with radio waves. Now, if you guys are familiar with HAARP, now HAARP was supposed to be, and I'm going to show you this right now, HAARP, it says HAARP, weather control is HAARP project, a weather control weapon. And of course, if you don't know what it is, it's high frequency active auroral research program. Now, it says it came out in the 1990s that they put this thing in. I don't believe that because I swear to you guys, I read that back in the, I don't know if it was between the 30s and 50s, which is a lot earlier than the 90s or the 90s, was that there was a gentleman that actually designed this for topography. And what he was doing was he'd literally bounce a signal off the atmosphere and back onto any part onto United States soil, or it might be other places, I don't know. But that's the way they explained it. And that they'd get a signal back, it would actually bounce back, and they would be able to tell where there's a good idea that maybe oil on the land. And then the Navy took over it. Now they're saying that Air Force has it, and they're kind of washing their hands of it as of earlier, I think 2013. But anyway, when you read this stuff, you can't help but to get into this thing and go, what the hell is going on here? This thing is insane. Let me see. Let me jump over to this. Now, it says HAARP shield and in the Cold War. And now, I mean, there's quite a bit to read on this thing. I mean, you can see where it's got the ionosphere, different regions, the troposphere, and the Earth itself, of course. But when you get down to this, it says in the 1980s and 90s, a number of Strategic Defense Initiative, or the SDI, or Star Wars programs were developed. All of them, which relied on shooting particle beams, lasers, or anti-ballistic missiles at the target, were made obsolete useless in the early 1980s. I know since I worked on a number of them. They all relied on knowing where the target was and then shooting something at the target. The development of non-radar reflective paint and surfaces, or stealth technology, meant you could not tell where the target was. If you don't know where it is, how can you shoot at it? The only effective defense shield concept was and is HAARP. I was going to say sharp. So, and it goes on and on and on, tells you, how it fails because, China's weaponry can get through because they don't have to go through the ionosphere or the magnetosphere, rather, and all this other crap. So, they can easily point this thing. Now, you got to read up on this thing because this thing is insane. Anybody who's been into radio knows what I mean by this. And I know there's a couple of you guys said that you're ham operators. If you've ever taken a VHF radio and tuned it into like the business band, which is like around 150, 151 megahertz, I got a small mobile receiver here. I got a Yaesu FT7100, which is dual band, but it's modified 2-band for the business band as well, so which I modded that myself. But when you take like a rubber ducky or a small antenna that you can just screw on the back of these things, and just transmit it. It's only 50 watts, okay? If you were to put this thing 2 feet away from your face, guess what happens? It literally, you'll feel your face become flush. You'll feel your hair follicles tingle, the whole nine. And this is a sleazy 50 watts maximum output of this radio. Now, you go to this right here, and I don't know if it's going to show it here or if it was this one here. Anyway, this thing is producing or putting out... let me see where it's at. I don't know if it's on this particular page. But anyway, it's 3.6 megawatts. A megawatt is 1,000 watts, or I'm sorry, a million watts. 3.6 million watts. Point that, and this thing could be, it's got a, it could transmit on any frequency between 2.8 and 10 megahertz. That's insane. It can knock out anything, satellite, government, anything. It can just pretty much do anything. So let's go back to the atmosphere itself. You can literally point this thing in the atmosphere and actually dissolve, if you will, or neutralize these particles that make up the Van Allen belt, therefore making like a doorway, so to speak. Now, check this page out. Physicists plan to wipe out Earth's Van Allen belts with radio waves. Okay. And I'll give you this page too, and it tells you what to do. They were going to put a tether out there as opposed to just radio waves, because a tether, they can make it like highly electrical and, and just disperse these particles out in space, this Van Allen belt. So yeah, you'll get these pages, these three of these here. Okay. Now, let me just check something here. Don't mind me, I'm just shutting this phone off because it probably will ding again, and I don't want that. I'm going to go ahead and put on vibrate. Okay, so now it's a possibility. People say, well, I don't think we're on Mars either because you can't get this stuff through the Van Allen belt. First of all, they don't even have to disperse these particles, because here's the thing. If you go through it quickly, you don't have to worry about any harm. And don't think for a minute these electronics on board these spacecraft and stuff are not shielded for this stuff. Come on, guys, they're smarter than that. But anyway, let's get back to this. Because this, again, this is Crow's picture, and so isn't this one here. This is an up close, and he was also watching the moon live as well. Now, I'm going to show you something I think is crazy, because not only, I'm going to show you, I don't even know how to explain this. I don't know if they're using something like a magnetic or maybe a radio wave to interact with the moon, and that's why we're getting that weird holographic wave, or if it is an actual holographic wave. Now, it has implications as far as if we've been to the moon or not. If we haven't, then how the hell do we even know what's on this moon? Think about it. If you said, okay, all this trash cannot, what I'm going to show you, you're going to say, well, all this trash can't be there. Why didn't we see it when we were on the moon? Well, if we weren't on the moon, how do we know what's on it? I mean, we can look at it with telescopes, sure. But if they're getting the same reaction with, the atmosphere from Earth, that waviness and stuff, you're not going to see anything super clear. I don't care how good the magnification is. You're just not going to see everything, all the, call it what you want, all the nooks and crannies, so to speak. But anyway, I'm going to show you a couple things. I don't think for a minute, now I'm not saying without a doubt, I'm just saying that a lot of these look like craters. They're not. They actually look like domes more than anything. And I want to show you guys something I thought was really wild. Why does this stuff like right here? Now, it may be trick of the mind, but you guys tell me what you think. Why do we have perfect shaped areas or structures? This has a round piece here, and it looks like it has a dome right in the middle of it, right here. This one also looks like something round with a dome. They don't look like craters. That's the crazy part. Now, this looks like a crater. Common sense. All right. So now I'm saying, all right, well, I'm going to show you this a lot better, too, because this next picture is actually a lot better. Like when you see a lot of these things here, I see a lot of these bright areas, and I'm just saying to myself, like, all of these, they don't look like just craters. They look like something more. Is it possible they're structures? God only knows. But let me just jump to something real quick with you guys. This one here, Dark Skywatcher gets the credit for this picture. I don't have it written on there, but he does. Dark Skywatcher 74, he gets the credit for this one because he was also live on the moon last night. Now, the crazy thing, or yesterday, call it what you will. The crazy thing about this, I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but I've noticed this and it's crazy. Is it possible... Like, you can see the most lighted area all in here. I mean, this is just common sense. You can see it's, like, really bright. So that's where the sun's shining, no doubt. What I noticed, I'm seeing, like, a couple bright, what look like craters here, 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 and stuff like that. Why aren't these super bright? Why isn't this one super bright? Why? So this is my question. Why does it appear, this right here, from here to here, you can see how wide it is, it looks like a bunch of light being shot out of this thing right here. This one goes to the other side and it shoots out like this. Why does this, and it's super bright right in here. Can you see that? Right here, and this one here, from this width, going like this and going like this. What is going on with that? Now, let me just go ahead and darken this up a little bit, and you can see it a little bit right now. You can see it right here. It's bright. It almost looks like a pyramid type effect because it's so much brightness, but it looks like a cross beam of light as opposed to just, see it right here? It's like brightest right here, coming right out of this. Why is that? Here's another thing. Let me go ahead and do this. I'm going to go to the black because this is actually in the black plating, and I did that just to get rid of any color. And you can see right here, it's the brightest. It's almost like the lights are going like this and crossing out of this thing. And that's what we're seeing. And this one. Now, just give you a better idea, I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to invert this. See it? You can see all the black area now? That's where the light is. And it's coming straight out. So is in this area right here. Of course, there's going to be a white instead of the what do you call it? But this is, again, here we go. Brightest right here. And you can see it kind of like doing this. Going out this way. And this is not as wide. It's kind of like this here. But what gives? What's up with that? I don't know, guys. I just wanted to show you that real quick. I thought that was pretty strange. But anyway, so let's get into this one here. Again, when you zoom into this, I mean, you can just see these almost perfect circles with these nice round pieces in the middle. Now people say, well, those are nothing more than just, simple craters. I don't believe that. I'm going to go ahead and just put filters on this thing. And like I said, you got these weird shapes. Perfect. Look at it, like hexagon shape kind of thing going on. And all of these, believe it or not, do not look like, and you're going to see this in a minute. And I've got something really bizarre to show you guys. Let's go to this one now. I'm going to just one particular that stood out almost immediately to me. Do you see this piece right here? I can see it has this weird going like this here. And then it kind of stops. You can see it a little bit, but not too bad. And there's something round or whatever it is. Might be a crater. At least it looks like that. Something like that. See that? Okay. The reason why I contend this stuff being... I don't know if you can see this, but look at this. There's something that looks like a box. Like almost like they're shooting these weird patterns. Almost like a 3D hexagon or a rectangular box, so to speak. You can see it very faintly right there. Now I'm going to show you something. Because the more you enhance this thing, it's not shadows. People go, well, it's shadows. No, it's not. Watch this. Why is it I can suddenly almost see the whole shape of this now? Look at this. Comes over here, goes over to here, and then goes down over to here, and now goes up. Why do we see that now? Now watch this. I'm going to take the color out and enhance it a little bit more. I can see the shape of this thing now. It's something is hiding whatever's on this moon. That's the only conclusion I can come to. And here's the thing. When I said about the UFOs, think about this a minute. If this is, in fact, some kind of weird magnetic field, something distorting what we're seeing here on the moon, is it possible that when he sees these UFOs, they're literally traveling under this and not on top of it? This is the reason why it looks like it's shadowed. It's traveling under a cloud. Like if you ever see like a plane going behind a cloud, you can see the shadow of it, but you can't see it with any real clarity. Okay. Now, when you get into these here, like right here, there's another real odd shape. And you'll see it right here. Almost like it has a diamond shape, or I shouldn't say diamond shape, but triangular shape. Round, and something right smack dab in the middle. Now watch this. See, it's starting to become a little bit more apparent. Check that out. Now, is it just shapes? Just, matrixing, just kind of mess with the mind? Possible. But these, like this in here, this doesn't look like a... Whoops, this was one a little crazy on me there. It's because I went off the mat here. But that does not look like a crater. It looks like a dome to me. Now, a lot of these things, you see these white... I don't think they're craters. I think a lot of these things are structures. And you can see a lot of these, like this. Here's another perfect example. Look at this. And then you get something that's probably high and you can't see the back of this. But see the shape of that? Right there? This stuff is being shielded from seeing all of the really good shapes and stuff that's actually under this. Here's another crazy thing. And this may be matrixing. I don't know. And again, here's that other piece. Of course, you're not going to be able to see that because I got it right here. But check this out. You can see this a little bit better now. And I'm going to do it the gray outline as opposed to the blue because I'm in the black. I'm in the... let me see here. Let me see if we are right there. Should be... Yeah, we're in the black plate just to make sure. I didn't want to say something else and it wasn't. But you can see how this right here, this area right here seems to be like kind of like over it. And it's kind of doing this. And it's kind of blocking 3/4 of this thing. Now, what could do that? But you can see that plain as day. You can see it actually runs past that area, goes across, comes up, and goes like that. So if that's doing it to that, how do we know what it's doing? Now, let me zoom out, rotate this real quick. Okay, check this out. I don't know if you guys can see this either, but check this out. When you look at this piece here, this looks like something very large sitting here, like this. But check this out. You can see something coming down like this, another one going down like this. Okay, there's something else right here coming off. You can see it going like this. There's something right here. I mean, come on. This may be just matrixing, but man, look at this. Comes off. Something comes off over here. Now check this out. What does this? 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, this stuff is on top of or under this. There's something right, like going like this. Something coming down. The way this thing is shaped. I mean, guys, give me your take on this. Look at this. It actually has some kind of weird oval front to it. I mean, what is that? I mean, and what is it? You can't see anything of real detail because this is being hidden. And that's all there is to it. And when you can actually see this a little bit more. And I'm going to use the gray. And there you go. What the hell is doing that? And you can see this thing spidering off over here. Right there. And you can see this, like I said, you can see this pretty more pronounced now. And you can see something with a shape here. With this oval opening, so on and so forth, going like this. And like I said, there's things on top. I mean, there's stuff everywhere. Look at this. Coming down. Is it just matrixing of the eyes? Matrixing of the eyes? Or is it actually there, guys? You guys tell me. I really do believe there's more than what's going on here than meets the eye. Look at this. When you see this picture like this, there's not a whole lot of detail. I mean, you can see quite a bit, don't get me wrong. But there's a big difference between not seeing something like this and really seeing it. And I can see that pretty darn good. Why does it look like it's being half covered? Well, I don't know. That's the question. That's something I hope you guys can help me answer because that's really bizarre. And if that's true, and if it is being covered up, what's doing it? Who's doing it? How are they doing it? Is it, electromagnetically, and it's kind of having that weird effect on the moon? Is it something else? Just zoom into some of these things, and this is just crazy. You can see a lot of this all over the place right here. Look at these, like right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. These rounded pieces that look like they're off the ground. They don't look like they're in the ground. Here's that weird hook thing. It looked like a question mark at one point. I mean, there's 1, 2. There's crazy things all over this thing, guys. Look at this. This doesn't even look like it's a crater by any stretch. I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 things coming off of it. I mean, what does that? So there's another piece here, like I said earlier. Just look around. I mean, I'll give you this picture, guys. You guys will get all of these here. I'll let you guys go over it and check it out yourselves. Let me see here. Here's where that other thing was, right here. This is, I think I showed you guys this before. Over here, there's this is just raised mountain area kind of thing. And you can see that pretty tall and pretty clear, if you will. Here's another thing, too. I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if I can do this. Right here, very faintly, there's pieces on there going like this. And it actually goes like this. You can see it's kind of rounded right here. Comes off. There's other different pieces. I mean, you can see that if you look. Just look at the shadows and the shapes underneath this stuff. It is there. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's there. And maybe if we haven't been there, we haven't been to the moon, this may be a good reason why. And like I said, you will doubt it because you'll say, well, we've been to the moon. We would have seen all this garbage. Come on now, it's silly. If we've been there. If we have not, and of course you see these silly videos, which may be true, but you see these people going, well, the reason why we've never been back to the moon, or we were told to stay off the moon, or whatever. As silly as that sounds, and if we've never been there, you tell me. Anyway, guys, I'm not going to take up too much of the time there. I wanted to try to squeeze this all into one and try to get this on there for you guys and try to answer a couple questions for you guys as well. You guys give me your take on it because I love your input. Hey, we're all learning here. I'm finding out new things all the time. Give me your comment. What do you think? Have we been on the moon or haven't we? Is it? Do you think there's more on the moon than what we're actually seeing? People are like, well, we got telescopes. People can see this crap. Yeah, well, you know what? I've looked at large telescopes too, and I'll tell you what, I can't see really good. You can see really good, don't get me wrong, you can see pretty darn good, but you can see that waviness in front like everybody sees, like all the amateur astronomers see as well. You can see that waviness from the atmosphere. But when you see these, like what Crow 77's got, and several other people have found, you can see this wave going above, or going, I should say, going up, from top to bottom, side to side, angle to angle, and in completely straight lines. Come on. And if this is trying to be hidden, what are they hiding? And maybe we're starting to see some of this. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Like I said, I'll have these up there tonight or tomorrow morning. As far as these pictures up on Google+. Guys, let me know. Share the video. Throw some comments down there. Give me some thumbs up. And guys, we'll see you next pick.